Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated legacy action. Today I am playing a donation deck from one of my YouTube subscribers. This is a monoblack list with lots of stuff we've seen before, but not necessarily all in the same place. So we've kind of got the disruptive, almost Death and Taxes like creature base of Bowmasters, Dauthi Voidwalker, Opposition Agent, and Grief. People have been playing for a while. I kind of pushed it a fair bit back in like August. For European Legacy Masters, this was the deck I ran. It's pretty good. A few other people have done it, but that's kind of all we've got from this deck, as well as the Reanimate package for like the classic Grief scam start. We've also got an Animate Dead, so we've got slightly more ways of utilising creatures in our graveyard. So we've got that plan, but then we've also got this Urza Saga package. I say package. It's just going to get us currency converter, but we can use this to make some guys with Ancient Tomb, just power out a little bit of disruptive threats. We can power it up a little bit with Chrome Mox as well. And then we have the Karn package as well. And we'll go into the Karn package in a second. But the idea is we can Urza Saga and get our currency converter, which can obviously, get rid of some dead cards and give us a little bit of selection in the mid game. But then also enable us to do things like Archon of Cruelty into the graveyard as one of our reanimation targets. Otherwise, we can always just pitch this to Grief if we're not in a position for it. So we've kind of got that going on as well. And we've got a bunch of fast mana to sort of power some things out, including the most exciting card here, Saw in Half. So what this does is, for a 3-mana instant, you destroy a creature, and then whoever controls that creature gets 2 copies of it at half the size rounded up. So we can get double Bowmasters, we can get double Grief. So the sort of dream is turn 1, Dark Ritual, Evoke a Grief, Saw it in half, and then we get 2 2/1 Griefs. Our opponent loses 3 cards. And then maybe next turn we Animate Dead the Grief or something. So that's a pretty interesting and powerful line that we can take. As well as, just sort of saving some of our creatures from removal in a weird way. So that's something I'm looking forward to. A couple of manlands buried in our mana base, but we got a lot of swamps to work with. So that seems pretty reasonable. We've got Ancient Tombs to help power out the Sagas, as well as powering out the Karn. Although I am a little bit skeptical of the Ancient Tomb. Like, it can let us power out an Opposition Agent or possibly a Saw in Half really early, but it's going to be a little bit awkward with the black pips, perhaps. But that's pretty much the main deck, and then we'll talk about the Karn package. So we've got a bit of Graveyard Hate in Tormod's Crypt. We've got the usual of Lattice and Liquimetal Coating. We've got Shadowspear that will probably be boarding in some games where we want that effect. We've got another currency converter in case we do need to start selecting the cards we've got. A Helm of Obedience to just win the game straight up when we have Dauthi Voidwalker in play. 2 removal options in Skysovereign, Consul, Flagship, and Walking Ballista. The Ensnaring Bridge, Pithing Needle, just all the things you'd expect in a Karn package, really. We're going a little bit deeper than that than you would normally expect. We've also got some Sheoldred's Edict and Plague Engineer that we can board in. So basically, the Shadowspear, the Sheoldred's Edict, Plague Engineer, probably the Pithing Needle. These are the things that are likely to board in. And the rest of it is pretty much just going to stay as a Karn package. So not too much difficulty in the old sideboarding for this league. And yeah, that's the deck. We've got a lot of disparate elements, but I like how they have the potential to come together. So I'm excited to see how this one works out for us. Alright, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel. I'm trying to grow to 2,500 subs for my birthday in April. So help me hit that, would be lovely. Alright, let's start jamming some of this deck that I guess we just call Saw. I don't know. Maybe I'll think of a pithy name for the thumbnail. We'll see. Let's get into it. If you're looking to play Legacy on MTGO like me, why not try Card Hoarder? They're a rental service that I personally use, and I found them better than other rental services that I've used in the past. So why not give them a try? So this opening hand, we're on the draw. I'm not feeling it too much. Like, we have a Grief that we can pitch. Our fast mana is not really doing anything for us. 4 lands, it's quite land. I think we can mulligan this, because this is kind of like 5 lands with a Troll. Obviously, we can pitch the Troll to the Grief if we want to, but then we're left with kind of half a land, half a spell here. And Dauthi Voidwalker is not the most exciting. I think I will mulligan for something a little bit more explosive and impressive. This is not as explosive and impressive, but we can throw away the Karn. We got Grief into Bowmasters into Opposition Agent, and that's quite a reasonable curve in my opinion. Okay, Sandstone Needle. We know what our opponent's doing. It's probably going to be the Mississippi River Cascade deck. So when they get... Okay, this is a pretty good one. So we'll play out a swamp. We will evoke this, Pitching a Bowmasters. Let's see what our opponent's got over there. I have to do some reading. Cascade, Cascade. Call for Tempest deals damage to each creature. Okay, so a big expensive thingy. Maelstrom Wanderer. So they can Throes of Chaos next turn, and if we take this, they will just get rid of it. They will just be able to retrace it. So this is a pretty awkward one. Take the Maelstrom Wanderer. So we can reanimate the Maelstrom Wanderer and bash them for 7. But they're probably just going to Throes of Chaos. I don't really want them to Throes of Chaos next turn. We don't really have any good options here because they have that extra land. But maybe they miss. It's very hard for them to miss. I will take this. I don't like this at all. I think we are probably going to lose this game. How do we... This is from the sideboard. Alright, so the Throes of Chaos is going off. They've hit a Violent Outburst. Tybalt's Trickery. It's a lot of land they've found here. So Tybalt's Trickery will counter this and they'll get another spell. Another Throes of Chaos. Okay, we're towards the fizzling side of things. The Tybalt's Trickery is the only thing they can hit into. We need this to hit them into another Throes of Chaos. Mine's Desire. That's pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another Throes of Chaos. A Tiger. Come on, come on. We're getting lucky so far. Okay. 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 So they can play this Throes of Chaos. I think they have one more Tybalt's Trickery in their deck, probably. Are we going to get lucky enough that they fizzle here? Like, it's incredibly unlikely they fizzle. Have we done it? Have we just got really jammy here? They can't play any of these lands because they've already played their land for the turn. Wowzers, trousers. We got so lucky there. That is unreal. Wowzers. Dauthi Voidwalker. That's probably better than Bowmasters here. If we could have powered this out earlier, it would have been good. So, I did say we need to get lucky. So our opponent's got more Cascade spells. They're slightly less deterministic from Tybalt's Trickery. Let's just do some attacking. We want to play this on our turn because our opponent has Mind's Desire in their deck, so we want to make sure they don't get one additional Storm, because that could be the difference between flipping like an Emrakul or Cryo Technique or not flipping anything. 3, 6, 7, 8. Not quite lethal yet. Right, we'll just play little guys. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is lethal, right? We managed to get lucky. I don't see us getting lucky in the other games. And we don't really have any good sideboards here. Like, what do these realistically do for us? Nothing, I think, is the answer. Torpor Orb doesn't actually do that much because they're just going to cascade into a bunch of creatures. So basically what they've done with their build is they've gone for a build that can fizzle when going off. As unlikely as it is possible, as we just saw. But they are lower to the ground, so they're trying to combo off on turn 2 or 3. Whereas we would normally see builds that need to get to 5 mana, and then they would board into the Throes of Chaos. So they go for reliability in the main deck and then speed out the sideboard. Our opponent's probably gone the other way around. Like, what does a good hand against them look like for us? We can grief them. That's something, I guess. I honestly don't know how we're supposed to beat this deck unless they lose to themselves. So even though they did fail in the first one, they're statistically not going to fail 2 more games. I guess we only need them to fail 1 more game. I guess racing to an early Karn and then trying to shut them off with like the Lattice lock. But I don't think that's going to be quick enough unless we play the turn 1 Karn. But we need some help for that. Orcish Bowmasters, not that exciting. How useful is Urza's Saga for us here? We're just trying to get more mana. If we play Urza's Saga out now, on turn 3, that gives us +1 mana for the turn because we can go and get a Mox, but that doesn't really matter, does it? I think we play this out. I think we'll play out this Chrome Mox. We will imprint the Troll. Is that right? And I think we have to grief here. Pitching Bowmasters. Maybe we're supposed to play out the Saga there. Throes of Chaos. I guess we forced them to have additional land for it. So we're at least making them discard a land. Like, this isn't going to work for us, and they're going to kill us this turn. Well, no, not this turn. They're going to kill us next turn because they need. Oh wait, no, Hickory Woodlot. Yeah, it's tapped. It's depletion land. So they got another turn here. A Dark Ritual. So if we Dark Ritual out the Karn now, next turn we can start lattice locking them, and maybe they fizzle once here, and that gives us a turn. Sure, I suppose we'll play out the Saga now. So if we go get the Tormod's Crypt, we can play the Crypt, take out the Throes of Chaos here, and then next turn we can start coating away their lands. And maybe that's enough. So we can minus the Karn this turn. We can go and get the... We could go and get Helm and kill them next turn. Or we could get... So they got, what, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. They would need 7 or to draw 6 drop or 5. I think we should just get the coating and be safe here. We play out the Dauthi, play out the coating, and then in our opponent's upkeep we will freeze. So this gives them access to red mana. They already have red mana from this. We can't cut them off red or green, but we can cut them off of blue. So I think we have to cut them off of the blue mana here. Next time we get to start eating these for real instead of just shutting them off. And maybe we get there. Let's see what we draw and see if we're making a token or not. Okay, so we're making a token. So we're going to get a currency converter. What are we getting rid of here? So the woodlot has 2 goes on it. This gives them red and blue, but they've got 2 of those. Are we just going to shred through both of these? I think we have to do that. I still don't feel great because I can draw some cards that jam us up in a pretty big way still. 1, 2, 3. Like, I don't think we want to play this. I think we'd rather loot this away. Or at least have the option to loot it away. Because we can turn this into a treasure, which gives us more damage on our construct. So this will be 5, 6, 7, 8. So we only need to find 1 artifact, or we can animate the currency converter for the final bit. So that'll be enough damage to make it a 2-turn clock. Alright, a Mossfire Valley. That's pretty good. Is there an instant speed one of these I'm not familiar with? Sakashima's Imposter. That's blue-blue though. Right, so we cut them off blue now. And then... I guess this is better than looting at this point, isn't it? This is 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will put them down to 10, and then we have exactly 10 damage in play. So I don't think we're going to race. We're going to loot something in the hope of getting a treasure. So next turn we can just lattice lock them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So we should have currency converted actually because we wanted the treasure, but we have lethal damage as well as lattice lock next turn. Ancient Tomb. So taking the blue mana off them is pretty good there. Just attack and get this one over and done with. Our opponent's giving us the GGs. Yeah, we got very lucky in that matchup. Like, our opponent hitting their fail rate, that's probably, what, maybe 5% shot? Probably lower than that, in fact. And the fact that it was also, the lands they had were ones that just sacked rather than having, like, depletion lands. It's actually... You know, like had Crystal Vein and stuff. I suppose the Crystal Vein let them go off a turn early, but then it ended up not working out for them. Yeah, we got lucky. I'll take that. Let's go to round 2. Alright. This is a classic turn 1 Troll, turn 2 Reanimate. That seems pretty reasonable to me. If we think our opponent's on something else, we can always pivot into playing the Bowmasters on 2. We can play that around a days using the Ancient Tomb. We play this one out first. This comes in tapped if it's your 3rd or greater land. So we'll play a 2nd so it doesn't get wastelanded off of us. There is a volcanic island, so we could be in Delver Town. Let's do some swamp cycling. Could stifle this. No stifle. I think I will play out this Hive the Eye Tyrant right now. Okay, let's try and reanimate our little friend. It's good enough for a Force of Will, perhaps. Now, our opponent might not be Delver, they might be Sneak and Show. Played against this opponent a fair bit. They're, okay, Force of Will. They're usually up amongst the trophies. Force of Negation. That's an unusual one. Do I want to fire off a Reanimate here into a Daze? Force of Negation, though. If they're playing Force of Negation, I don't think... The chance of them running Daze is a lot lower. So I'm going to go for this Reanimate now. You'll definitely get punished here. But I think the Force of Negation is telling that it's going to be something else. So there might just be like a multicolored control deck, which is probably going to be a difficult matchup for us at the end of the day. Like some sort of beanstalk control. Crashing Footfalls. Oh, okay, we're on Rhinos. I see. Some Rhinoceroses, for sure. I'll play out this Ancient Tomb. We'll go to tax. Karn's normally a pretty fine thing to be doing with your time. We in with the Karn? We are in with the Karn. Right. They're probably good at doing 2 damage, but not good at doing more than 2 damage. Let's go and get the Liquimetal Coating here. And then our plan is to just strip their lands away. And we got 3 turns. So our Troll will clock them before the Rhinos get us. But they might have a Rhinos they can play this turn. Elvish Spirit Guide. Is this Minsk and Boo? Feels like a Minsk and Boo. Sure. So we're slightly punished here for not holding open the Bowmasters because that can ping a Boo. But if they're just killing the Karn here... Like, not ideal, but I'll take it. Dauthi Voidwalker. Interesting. So this is only a 3/3. So I think we are... We probably have to attack Boo. Minsk and Boo, because otherwise it just gets massively out of hand. And then we'll jam this Voidwalker, and then we can play an Orcish Bowmasters around a Daze, or we can play a Saw in half if they try and kill our creature. So this becomes a 3/3 if we Saw in half. This becomes a 2/1. This is just going to clatter into us. If we'd have played this first, we could have put the Minsk and Boo underneath the Dauthi Voidwalker. But I think we're just okay attacking with this. Maybe we should have done that so we could get the Minsk and Boo underneath it. Well, my plan is to attack with these, but I guess Minsk and Boo attacks too. 2 damage. Do I want to saw this in half? Or is this bait? Let's saw it in half. We came here to saw things in half, right? Our deck is called Saw. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to see some nonsense here, I think. 2 turns to the Rhinos. They're going to use this as an opportunity to kill our Troll with something. And this was a bait spell. We now have 2 Dauthi Voidwalkers. Do you want another Dauthi Voidwalker, or do you want to swing for 3 right now? Swing for 3 feels interesting when there's this Minsk and Boo on the other side. I don't really want to tap this Ancient Tomb if I can avoid it. So if we swing just for 6 here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have the Bowmasters if we need it. We probably have to chump block this Boo. Maybe we're just swinging for 4 here. So they're going to get the Crashing Footfalls in 2 turns. So I think we're just swinging in with these guys. And then, do we want this Orcish Bowmasters, or do we want a Dauthi Voidwalker in play? I think I'd rather have the Bowmasters in case something gets a little bit squiffy. We can at least block and soak up some damage here. Petty Theft. Yeah, so that's the other removal spell they had there. We at least have this covered if they play this, but they're not going to play it at a time that's helpful for us, to be honest. Let's Swamp Cycle. We probably have to block this so we don't die to Fire Ice. It's annoying. 2, 4. So we get to get a Rhino. We get our own Rhinos next turn due to the Voidwalker. What else is in the Void here? Nothing too exciting. Nope, I think we just have to take the 4, and if they have Fire Ice, we just die. Not how I drew it up. Dark Ritual, that's actually pretty interesting. So, let's put down the Voidwalker. We go attack. So if we attack with both of these, like if they have Fire Ice, then we're just kind of cold regardless. Sure, I think we attack for 4 here. No, what am I doing? Why have I done that? Oh, I just completely punted this game. I was literally just saying we needed to... Oh my god. I just punted that one. Alright. So I like these guys and these guys. Like the reanimation package is going to be good if we get to doing it, but maybe it's a bit slow. Maybe the Karn... Like the Karn's going to find us some pretty handy stuff though. So maybe we're like trimming... Opposition Agent doesn't stop Cascade because it reveals cards. It doesn't let you... It's not search. Maybe the Saw in halves are not the best because our opponent's not going to be playing lots of removal anyway that we're going to care about too much. Do you want to take the Animate Dead? Maybe we trim one of these. So we can keep this. Let's go Dauthi Voidwalker down. Call this. Yeah, we laid out the plan we were doing and then our brain just decided to have a moment. Basic forest. Chrome Mox, interesting. We play this one out first. This way, if our opponent puts something into the void, so if they cast anything when we're attacking or does anything, we at least get it into the void in the next one if they're trying to get us in attacks. There's a Tropical Island. Shardless Agent, sure. Yeah, so they're going to put Crashing Footfalls into the exile zone for us, which is nice of them. Right, so we'll play their Crashing Footfalls. Save a counterspell for this, perhaps. We can then just do it again as well if we want to, which seems pretty good. Who is the Rhinoceros person now? Dauthi Voidwalker, pretty good. Force of Negation, though. What do they pitch here? A Shadows Agent, sure. Okay. So we can trade these off, and then we can ping and kill this. And then be left with the Saga ticking up. Okay, we will not be left with the Saga ticking up. Understood. Sure. I don't think we're playing around anything by floating mana there. I would like to Petty Theft. Sure, that's pretty good. Our opponent does have a lot of bounce in their deck. Because they can't really play anything else. So we can saw this in half and kill the Shadows Agent. Which isn't ideal, but it's alright. Or we can actually saw in half and then kill this Rhino. Because this will become a 3-3. That sounds like a better plan. Let's do that better plan. Right, saw in half the Bowmasters. Let's see if this works. Removal Spell Blazers out here. Bounce Spell Blazers out here. Counter Spell Blazers out. Alright. So we have 2 Orcish Bowmasters here. So we can put... interesting. If we just ping them, then we can gobble up this Shardless Agent with a 3-3. And then the next saw in half. Or Bowmasters allows us to kill this. So this plays around them pinging, them bouncing our token. But we could have pinged out this. Okay, so we're going to tap it and draw a card. Right, so now we'll ping this down. So we ended up in a pretty good position there, to be honest. Because now we have something that's bigger than the Rhinoceros. Right, let's send in the clowns. So we need to have a way of dealing with our guy. But we have lethal on the backswing if they spend their turn dealing with our guy. Or like tapping it down. If they kill our guy, we don't have lethal. We can ignore the borrower this turn cycle. Alright. So we're just going to see an end of turn borrower here. This has menace, right? Menace, yeah. But paying 2 life for this is a lot. Oh, that's pretty good. The old Fire Ice. And suspending Crashing Footfall. So there is a clock on this game now. Troll of Khazad-dûm. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're 1 mana shy. If we attack for 5, our opponent has 1 card in hand. If we activate our Hive Tyrant and attack, they have to chump block with a Rhino. Because otherwise that's lethal. Let's play slower and think what I'm doing a bit more, shall we? So this will be 3 plus 5. Sure. Playing this game a little bit better than the previous one. This has menace, they can't block it. So they have to block. And so we take out the instants and sorceries in case they have Murktides in their deck. And so they have to chump block, which is obviously great for us. And then we have a lethal threat that can't be blocked by Brazen Borrower. This game's been pretty good. All right, we got there. So we need to do that again. Do I want a Shadowspear if we're going construct route? That's something to think about. I'm not convinced that's the best. But maybe. Is that going to be better than having this Archon of Cruelty in our deck? We're kind of a bit slow trying to do this Archon of Cruelty stuff, right? We only have the currency converter to get rid of that. And that's kind of like a late game thing. So maybe I do want the Shadowspear in the main. And that can allow us to race these guys. Let's try that. So this is turn 1, Dark Ritual, Dauthi Voidwalker, Reanimate. That's okay. It means that we might be able to copy their first rhinos. But if they counterspell our Dark Ritual, that's going to go badly for us. Have they got a cheap? I don't know what they could have for 1 mana here. Let's try this guy out. Oh, we're just in. So this means if they make any rhinos, we will get one underneath our Voidwalker. And as soon as they let this resolve, it lets us know that they weren't going to make them on our turn. So our opponent is a competent Magic player. So they're not going to make that sort of mistake. Oh, they kept a 1-lander, did they? They maybe have a... If we attack here... I think we are attacking here. I was just trying to think, if they have the rhinos, would we like to have them, or are we just going to take that 8 straight away? Okay, no, they didn't have it in step. But I didn't have it last turn, so... So now they've got a land, they can probably put rhinos into play. Are they sorcery speed rhinos, or are they instant speed rhinos? Or are they going to try and deal with our Dauthi Voidwalker first? They're going to go for dealing with the Voidwalker first. So this turn we do this. We Chrome Mox, I think, here. And print this Dauthi Voidwalker. And then pass. We can make a 2-2. And then we can get the Shadowspear, and then we can actually have some pretty good ability to race our opponent from there. Alright, this is not how they want to spend their turn. They don't want to spend mana to get their land drops. So this is a positive for us. Alright, we're going to see a Shardus Agent here. So we also get to get our Rhinoceroses in a second as well. Let's make some friends. Pay the iron price here. So I think we want the Shadowspear. And then this will sacrifice. We will get Crashing Footfalls. I think that is the best thing here. Okay, so we're in there with that. I think we made a slight error there as well, actually. Let's equip this. Go attacks. Get in. They can double block with Rhino and Shardus Agent, but I'm happy to trade this for a Rhino. So if we had done this first, we could have got the Crashing Footfall underneath this again, so that was a slight misstep. So next turn we can Shadowspear on this and we'll have a 4-4. Or we can put it on our Rhino and have a 5-5. Opponent's got 5 cards in hand, which is a lot. I think they've got some instant speed Rhinos coming our way. Is this worth doing to make our Rhinos better than their Rhinos? That's actually a pretty big deal. We could always use this to shut off Minsc and Boo as an option, is the other plan for this. I think I like equipping this. Because if they have Fire Ice, they have to use it now. Okay, so we'll attack with our shadow creature they can't block. So do we put this on Hamster, or do we put it on Rhino? I think we put it on Hamster, because Minsc and Boo is annoying. Although if they have multiple Rhinos here, we probably want it on Rhino. If they Rhino end of turn. That's a tough call. We'll leave this in hand in case we want to pitch it to something. Yeah, Violent Outburst, sure. So us having 4-4 Rhinos and our opponent having 3-3 Rhinos is obviously great news for us. This will also go underneath our Dauthi Voidwalker, so we can make some 4-4 Rhinos if we get to untap with our Dauthi Voidwalker. Timing restrictions still apply with Dauthi Voidwalker cards. We can't just hold it open and then put some instant speed Rhinos in. Alright, there's the third copy of Crashing Footfalls. And then no attack. Interesting. Dauthi Voidwalker for us. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So we're going to want this guy in play. Let's Crashing Footfalls. They could have a counterspell for this. If that doesn't go into the graveyard, so they don't get to... Well, you don't get to put it under this Dauthi Voidwalker. So now we have some choices about what we're doing with our Rhino taken. So if we... I think we're equipping our Construct and bashing, or a Rhino. If we equip a Rhino and attack with it, then they have to... They'll just trade one rhino here, right? So they put 2 in front of it, and then we don't really get anywhere. I think we'll pass. Obviously, they got more rhinos on the way, but then we also have more rhinos on the way, if that's the situation we're in. We get Minsc and booed. Yeah. So if we name Hamster with this, we stop them putting the counters on the boo, because they won't be there, but they can still put them on the rhino, because it's a creature with trample or haste. So the correct play, I think, for our opponent is to put it on a rhino here. Okay, they're sacrificing a creature instead. So they're going to sacrifice probably killing our Voidwalker or our Plague Engineer. They're going for the Voidwalker. Sure. I don't think they can attack here. Reanimate is interesting. So if we attack them, so we can have 4, 8, 12 trample damage. So they have to block at least one thing. So 3, 6, 9, 10. So if we attack everything at this guy, that's not very helpful. I think we're best off attacking them. So if they block this, that's okay. I'm just trying to work out if we attack with this guy or not, and how that impacts it. So if we attack with this guy as well, so there's 12 Trampler, so they can soak one up, eat this, and then they're okay. Yeah, I think we're just attacking with these guys. They do get to grow their Minsc and boo. So I get to put a count on this, but I think with the amount of power we have in play, we can go wide next turn. So then they're going to double block and kill one. Okay, they might double block and kill 2 of them. Okay, so they're going to be left with 1 rhino. And obviously the boo. Okay, so now we can reanimate our Dauthi Voidwalker if we want to. And that gives us an evasive threat. I don't want to put the equipment on this now. Does that do anything for us? We can put the equipment on the Plague Engineer. That's not the most exciting. I think we pass here. So we have 2 hits with our Dauthi Voidwalker will be lethal. And we can just finish off this boo with the Dauthi Voidwalker if we want to this turn. But then they can make... So they've grown into a 4-4. Sure. There is also a Lorien revealed if we just want to draw a bunch of cards. And a Fire Ice, so we can just tap these 2 guys down and deal 6. And our opponent's got 1 card in hand. And they're representing hardcast Force of Will. So we could just ice down these 2 guys and kill our opponent. But if they have Force of Will, that's really bad for us. Alright, so I think we go to attacks. This will attack into the boo. The Minsc and boo. Shadow, pretty good mechanic. So we have this opposition agent. We can probably get them with this fetch. We couldn't do this and do the Hive of the Eye Tyrant plan. Go to 1 counter. This means we can draw a grief to check the coast is clear about the Force of Will. Right, so they're going to crack this fetch so they can actually get a land out. That makes sense. Our opponent's got 1 card in hand. A grief here would be excellent. A Troll of Khazad-dûm is not a grief. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So play this out. If we activate this and swing, that has menace, so they'll be taking 3, so they're effectively on 4. So they can block this, and they can block this, and then they'll be dead. But if they have a removal spell, that's pretty bad for us. If we attack with not the Dauthi Voidwalker, so we can force of negation something, how does that change things? So we're coming in with this, 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 and this. So they block this, and then they block this, and then they take 3, 4, 5. And then we can Fire Ice them. But we could Fire Ice them now and just try and win the game anyway. Yeah, this is an interesting decision tree here. They're about to get more rhinos, so I'd quite like to have that under the Dauthi Voidwalker. This is tough. So I'm going to cast this. We do have to use both of our Ancient Tombs here, but we're on a pretty healthy life total right now. Wait, did we see what was in our opponent's hand when we opposition agented? It didn't pop up on the screen like it's supposed to. I guess no, because we didn't get to see the hand because they didn't fetch, that's why. Okay. So I don't want to trade this for a Minsc and boo. Do I want to Dauthi Voidwalker them for 3? I think I do want to Dauthi Voidwalker them for 3. It worked last time. So I do think what they have in hand is probably the Force of Will. Right, so I'm going to Crashing Footfalls this turn. But we have a threat that is lethal if we stick the Shadowspear on it. Also, this Troll of Khazad-dûm is pretty good too, because they have to triple block it. So if we attack with this, this, and this, I think we're okay. Okay, so I want to play this land out. Let's animate this. Let's go attacks. So we'll get rid of the Crushing Footfalls. So we're holding up the Force of Negation here. But they need 3 creatures to block this, which means they can't block the other things sufficiently. Menace is powerful. The Menace on Hive, the Eye Tyrant coming in clutch there. Oh, GG's opponent. That was a good game. I think we maybe could have won that one a little bit earlier. We were playing a bit cautiously. We didn't know it was in our opponent's hands, and I wanted to make sure that we could beat a Force of Will, because we could have just Fire Iced if we knew what their hand was. So if we draw a Grief, we have a look, and then we just win. But yeah, that matchup felt good. We did punt the first game, but we came back. So, and I did know the correct line. My brain just decided it didn't want to click it. Weird. All right, let's go to round 3. We are 2-0. Welcome to round 3. We're on the play. We actually have the currency converter thing. We don't have anything to do with it. What does our hand actually do? We just currency convert into nothing. So I think this is the mulligan. Okay, this is a turn 2 troll around days. Seems fine. We're probably throwing back the Karn because it's a little bit pricey here. We only have 1 Urborg in the deck, which is nice. We don't have to ever worry about drawing 2. Right, they're cracking their Misty Rainforest. Apparently in Archon, they play lots of decks. So, okay, a Stalactite Stalker. And this will be getting a counter on it. Imagine if I had a Dark Blast here. That'd be great. Glorious Dark Blast. Let's get Swamp. A Dark Ritual. That's a pretty tasty one, isn't it? Let's play a Dauthi Voidwalker. This is going to stop this Stalactite Stalker from ever growing. I would quite like a big troll as well. This is playing around days. Alright, that's a pretty good turn. That's 9 power of evasive damage. That's more or less a 2-turn clock. A Brainstorm, sure. Shame we didn't have our Bowmasters in play, but I think putting the big troll and Dauthi Voidwalker is good. This Stalactite Stalker will never grow if there is a Dauthi Voidwalker in play, because nothing goes to the graveyard. But they're going to be playing Fatal Push and stuff. But if they kill our Dauthi Voidwalker, they still have this troll. Sure. Let's go into the exile. Fatal Push is just leaving the battlefield if they kill big stuff, but Fatal Push can kill Dauthi Voidwalker anyway. But what have you got for me, opponent? Another Stalker. So this one won't grow either. I doubt they're attacking. They are. Oh, they're attacking. Menace, right? Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And Dauthi Voidwalker can't block, so they're definitely attacking. That makes sense. But we have a superior clock here. Can I take half of your life total, please? We should have played out a land first, so that we can play around a days here. But I don't know what they're going to do in combat with 0 mana here. Contagion, I guess, but or Contamination, whatever it's called. Right, so we're going to fire this guy off. Should have left a basic Swamp up, but... Can I kill your Stalactite Stalker for free? Alright, we have a lot of things here. These are the things we have in the Void that we can use, but none of them are better than a Dauthi Voidwalker right now. They can't do Murktide stuff. They have to basically answer this troll this turn, really. We do have this uncastable card in hand that is... Okay, our opponent's had enough. So, what do we want for this matchup? Removal. These things seem fine. Do I want any of these things? No, I don't believe we do. So these things. Now, I'll be honest. I'm not feeling this currency converter sideboard plan. Main deck plan here. I also think Saw in half. Karn's not great in this matchup either, actually. Let's go with a Karn. Maybe... Like, what are we going to get for Karn? Like, there's definitely some nice tools we can get, but maybe, just maybe, let's trim some stuff like this. Trim 1 Archon, and we can at least... Like, if the game gets grindy, we at least have the currency converter to do some work for us. But I quite like these sort of black decks like this into Delver style decks. When I played at European Legacy Masters, when I've been testing the deck, I was just smashing blue decks left, right, and centre. However, we did not smash many blue decks on the day because we didn't play any. We just got Ancient Tomb Gamered right in our heart. In our cold, dead heart. So this is a Grief pitching Saw in half into Dauthi Voidwalker. And that's pretty acceptable. We can also play Bowmasters if it is relevant. But our opponent's quite likely to put a 2-2 into play on turn 1 with the Stalker. I feel that's the sort of hand they want there to get some early pressure going. No, it isn't. Interesting. If we play out the Saga, we don't get to play out the Dauthi Voidwalker this turn, but we do still get to play Bowmasters and we can start acting. I guess our mana's kind of already spoken for anyway. So we'll play this. I'll play this Chrome Mox first. Okay, so we'll pitch this Saw in half, I think. And then we'll pitch a Plague Engineer to the Grief. And this way, if they go to Brainstorm in response to high cards, we can then fling the Bowmaster in. And if all goes well, that could be the game, like, pretty much turn 1. Like, jamming them up. The Kraken Pluto Delta. That's Bowmasters. They have the days, sure. This does set them back a bit, though. So next turn we play the Saga, play the Dauthi Voidwalker, paying around days, and then we just crank out Saga tokens for a couple of turns. Maybe we wanted the Shadowspear in the deck. Maybe that's better than some of the currency converter plan that we got going on. Let's see what our grief finds. Dauthi Voidwalker, Brainstorm, Murktide Regent. Interesting. Dauthi Voidwalker is kind of irritating. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we take the Murktide though. I think that's actually the harder one for us to beat there. We don't have that much removal going on. Like, we can race other threats, but we can't really race the Murktide. So they've got one mystery card. And there it is. Right, so this is going to grow, but that'll be the last time it grows. And we know our card is going to resolve this turn. Got the Saga. Black, black. Let's have a little friend and pass the turn. So no more descending for our opponent. I think that's what it's called. Descend. Yeah. Right, so there's this guy. Sure, you can bash us for a bit. And Reanimate is pretty nice. We can take our opponent's... We can take their Murktide Regent, if that's the thing we're interested in. Or we could just take their Brainstorm from their hand. I think that is better than Bowmasters here. A Thoughtseize and a Brainstorm. Sure, we'll take the Brainstorm. Leave them with a Thoughtseize that doesn't do anything. We'll bash. And we'll make an Urza Saga construct. It'll be a 2-2, so we can double block and kill the Stalker. A Dauthi Voidwalker, sure. Just a Dauthi Voidwalker, is it? So they can be on blocks with a Dauthi Voidwalker. Currency Converter has some interesting applications with Murktide Regents. Right, so we can activate this. So if we just take the 5 here, we're cracking back for a lot more than that. That seems acceptable. Wish we had the Shadowspear though. Let's make a guy. Let's have a currency converter. Wish that was a Shadowspear instead, but alas. This is 7. Alright, they're off of it. Excellent. So we're 3-0. We're cruising along nicely. These monoblack shells just feel good against the blue shells because the Orcish Bowmasters is kind of one-sided. Like, their Bowmasters doesn't really do much against us, whereas our Bowmasters hits all their cantrips. Now, obviously, they are a deck with cantrips, which is obviously good. But yeah, this deck is running quite smoothly. Let's go to round 4. We're on the play here. We can do some gross stuff with the old Dark Ritual. We do need another land. But sometimes just turn 1 Opposition Agent can just get the game won. So maybe that's what we're going to try here. And then we're going to try and get our opponent. We're just going to put this into play and say, can you beat this? And then we can follow up with a currency converter. And if we find a second land, we can obviously have Bowmasters. And we can start looting away this Archon of Cruelty. Ancient Tomb. Okay, so this Opposition Agent will do nothing. It's going to be a Chalice for 1. Sphere of Resistance. Okay, so we might be in the lands ballpark. We might be in the mono brown stompy ballpark. If we don't draw a land here, we're going to feel terrible. We did not draw a land here. Okay, we will exile this Archon of Cruelty from our hand because that's not doing anything right now. Patchwork Automaton is good. Thorn of Amethyst. I guess we're just going to take their threat and then hope that we can beat the Urza Saga. At least we don't have a non-basic. When the Saga pops, it will give us a card as well. We will get to do the searching. A Mox Diamonds is going to pitch the Wasteland. Yep. They're going to Thorn of Amethyst. They're going to... Yeah, there's a Thorn of Amethyst. They can't Metamorph. Would love a creature. A land, sorry, not creature. Oh, okay, Hive the Eye Tyrant. That's... so this costs 3, right? This is definitely not the matchup to keep a one-lander against. That's for sure. So now they're going to crank out some Urza Sagas. Now we could have had our own Urza Sagas. They wouldn't be as good as our opponents though. So now attacking becomes problematic. I think our opponent wins this game. They've got a couple of turns to draw lands, but these constructs are getting big. Now, unless they got some really sweet target we get here. Maybe it's the Lotus Petal here. Sad as that is. That gives us another mana for later on down the line. Yep, we're going to take a big chunk there. Do I want to show our opponent that we're an Urza Saga deck? How over do I think this game is? They're kind of struggling to cast spells here, but we have to get rid of these guys. I'm trying to work out how we do that. I guess it probably starts with Karn. That probably is the beginning of that, but that's an expensive multi-turn line. Okay, I think we do show them the Saga here. My 2-mana Lotus Petal. Never felt so bad. We take 10 next turn, and then we chump block the turn after. They're only on 4, though. But I'm not sure how we get through this wall of meat they have. They just attack with one guy, right? If we attack with both, then we can kill them. Go on. Go on. The cowardice. The sheer cowardice. So they can make Metamorph next turn, which is annoying. We can Bowmasters and then maybe saw it in half a turn after. That's 5 mana play to get the Sawn Bowmasters. But I think we have our line here. We play the Bowmasters and then we do some chump blocking. And then if we draw a land, we can saw in half the Bowmasters, do some more chump blocking and ping them. And then we can reanimate and ping them. Like, it's a plan. We also get a Chrome Mox off this Saga, actually. So that guarantees us the mana to do the saw in half next turn. So if they play a land, if they play an artifact pre-combat, that's not amazing for us. But can we... Yeah, we can ping them. And if they only have one blocker, we can then use Hive the Eye Tyrant to kill them, right? 1, 2, 3, the 4th mana from the Chrome Mox. Yep, I think we've got lines that can win us this game, for sure. What are you going to play here? Is it going to be a construct, just to get another body in, swing with 2 guys? An opposition agent. That's pretty annoying. That is very annoying, actually. Does that change what I'm doing here? If we draw a mana source, we do get to win the game here. This can block here. I don't believe they can make a random artifact out of nowhere. So we get a 1. But if we draw an Ancient Tomb, then we're dead if we do that. So we block like this. This means we still have the saw in half line. Worst case scenario. Find a mana source. It costs 3 mana and gives us 3 mana. So that's not a mana source. If we saw in half this Bowmasters, in response to this, we get our Chrome Mox. We can't. This costs 5, right? We don't get to do the saw in half. And we didn't find the thing we needed. So probably they're just making... They're not going to get anything from this, right? We don't have a Chrome... No, we do have Chrome Moxes. That's the only thing they can find. If we can make a token and block, that's okay. Sawing this in half is better. But we can't saw it in half, right? Because we're 1 mana shy. So the only play available to us is to make this guy. They're going to see our hand, which is obviously less than ideal. So we need to block, draw Ancient Tomb. Yeah, so we block, draw Ancient Tomb, activate Hive of the Eye Tyrant, and swing. However, if they don't attack with this, because these are going to be 8/8s, so that's going to be enough. Okay, so they have the Ghost Quarter now. So Hive the Eye Tyrant is off. Okay. Maybe we can't even do Soaring Half-Lines now. Yeah, I think we missed that window. Sad as it is. They're going to get Bowmasters. They are. They're going to ping our Bowmasters. This means that we don't have enough blockers and we die. That was unfortunate. So we're looking at a stompy deck. I would like some Sheoldred's Edicts. Again, I'm not convinced we should be running Currency Converter Archon of Cruelty. That doesn't feel like it's getting us anywhere. I do like the Shadowspear. We're trying to get that going. Yeah, I think this is fine. I want Pithing Needle in the main. No, do I want these just because they trade into constructs? What would I have them instead of? Also good around Thorn of Amethyst, unlike some of our other pieces. Maybe either Karn is just too expensive. It's very good if we get into play, but it is very expensive. Saw in half on Bowmasters is fine. Maybe we'll split the difference here. But yeah, not feeling great about this one. Like we can grief them on turn 1 and hope that does something. Which doesn't sound great, does it? So we grief pitching Dauthi Voidwalker, then we play Plague Engineer, stick an equipment on it and hope that guy can get there. That sounds bad. But we at least have the disruption. What would be a better hand? Obviously Grief Reanimate would be good. Or a Dark Ritual hand. No, I think we do keep this one. It's very underwhelming, to be honest. Pitch this, because this is a spell we can't cast right now. Okay. Mox Diamond, Nettle Cyst, Patchwork Automaton. These cards aren't that exciting. A lot of Wastelands, though. That definitely grinds my gears. Take the Mox Diamond, they never have colour banner, but they are like a colourless stompy deck, so I don't think that matters. Take the Patchwork, they can't deploy a threat on turn 1, and they probably just play out... Actually, no, they just play the Nettle Cyst on 1, but that's not very scary. Take the Patchwork. There's the Mox. We're going to see one of these Wastelands go to the bin, I imagine. Oh, the City of Traitors is gone. And they're playing a Wasteland. Oh, they got another Mox. Okay. We're going to see the Nettle Cyst. I would like to draw a Swamp. Just a basic Swamp. One-time deck. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. I think we play this and we edict our opponent. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token. Because we know next turn we can play this Ancient Tomb and then play the Engineer. Another guy. And play the other one. Alright. Patches is a construct. Sure. Say goodbye to your construct. Sawing this guy in half is pretty fun though. Okay, so we can go and get a basic Swamp with our Troll. We just need our opponent to not get anywhere for a few turns. And that's something. Ghost Quarter. Okay, we have a lot of basics, so they've seen that we have a lot of basics from the opposition agents, so they're not just going to fight us off. Right, I think this is better. Just get some damage going. Now, if we draw a 3-drop that we really want to play, that punishes us for not cycling the Troll. But I think we should need to play with what's around. Okay, that's pretty good. Opponent's got one card in hand. There's another Wasteland. I think they would probably play it out because I don't think we're going to slow all our Wastelands here. Sure, so we will float this. Ghost Quarter goes through. We get a Swamp. So now we have the mana to cast all the spells that are in our deck. And if we draw a Karn, it's proper lights out. Okay, we don't have the mana to do that, but this is very risky when our opponent only has 2 mana sources. We're going to hold on to this Orcish Bowmasters in case they play... I guess we can't stop the... Okay, just a Ghost Quarter. Just make a guy. Oh, it's 3 mana, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Ping them down to 10. We got 2-turn clock now. Alright, our opponent's had enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I liked how he played that one. This is fine. Let's just go in again. Grief, Reanimate, Grief. Is that good enough on the play? Maybe. Oh, on the draw, sorry. I think it's fine. We have a removal spell for their first guy as well. If they play the Sphere, that's kind of annoying, but we can still Grief. Maybe Grief pitch Dauthi. And then if it's really bad news, we can then Grief again. Our opponent's deck is relatively all in. It's like a bunch of mana and some prisony pieces, and it's got like a handful of ways of winning the game. Okay. Not the one we wanted. Okay, we're definitely going to Grief pitch and Grief now. If this was Thorn of Amethyst, it would have been more or less the same deal because we wouldn't be able to cast our thing. Nettlecyst, Phyrexian Metamorph, Wasteland. I guess we'll take the Nettlecyst because it's just a threat. Although, do we think we can play around this Thorn of Amethyst? It's not going to be the easiest. I believe in our ability to draw lands. Right, they're going to play another meta. They're going to play meta. No, they can't play Metamorph on this kind of. Okay, they drew Patches. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Basic was not a basic. Okay, we're in trouble. So we can Sheoldred's Edict this because we don't really want the Metamorph to happen on this, and we would like this to just be gone. We could Grief just to get a threat in play. But then, oh no, we can't Sheoldred's Edict actually because of the Sphere. So yeah, I think we are on reanimating our Grief. Take the Metamorph here. We can't take the Thorn as well. So they're going to Wasteland us. And then we're going to need to draw something good. But our creature is the bigger creature. So if everything remains as it is, we are winning. Swamp, lovely to see you. I think I want a Grief here. Pitching Sheoldred's Edict. Just take out this Thorn of Amethyst. Another Wasteland. I do like Wastelands myself, so that stops their patchwork from growing. It also means that we can cast a Sheoldred's Edict if we draw another mana source. Alright, so they're going to grow their patches by 1. Going to bash us up for 2, that's fine. Land. Not a land. Well, kind of a land. Let's swamp cycle this. Play a land. So we can kill their patchwork next turn. Sure. We can still kill their patchwork next turn. This is just casting it to grow the guy. We're just in a straight, good old-fashioned brawl. Orcish Bowmasters. That's not really the one we want right now. Attack. We can cast this whenever. If our opponent casts a Metamorph... No, they'd have to have a mana source as well, wouldn't they? Yeah, we're probably just firing this Sheoldred's Edict. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Goodbye, Patches. I think we've gotten there now. Play this. Delves another guy. Alright, we're cruising a little bit here. The Workshop, that's not the one. 6 damage, another little bit in hand. Can't quite kill them on this turn cycle, but I don't think there's any one... I guess if they're running Ensnaring Bridge, it seems unlikely in their Stompy deck. Yeah, our opponent's scooping that one up. So we are now 4-0 going to a trophy match with this deck, which is a bit of a surprise to me, to be honest. I thought we were in the solid 3-2 ballpark, but we've already exceeded that. Let's see if we can get a trophy. On the play for our trophy match, I don't believe this hand is keepable. This one is a lot nicer. I will keep this. We'll throw back the bonus Troll. So again, we have the turn 1 Troll into... Well, turn 1 cycle Troll into either... Orcish Bowmasters or Reanimate round Days to bring back our Troll. A Basic Mountain. What flavour of Basic Mountain deck is this? A Chrome Mox. Are you looking at Goblins? We're looking at Mono Red Prison. Hard to tell yet. All these cards are in both lists. Shimmer Spirit Guide exiled. Name Sticker Goblin. Okay, we might be dead now. We need this to low roll. Okay, mid roll. That's fine. We just needed it to not be 6, unless they've got a Spirit Guide in hand. And we're Goblin Matron. That's bad news. I don't think this is going to be a very quick match, this one. Sorry, a very long match. I think it's going to be quite quick. A Battle Cry Goblin. Right, just going to play this out now. Sure. It's going to be a tough one. Swamp Cycle. So we can use our Orcish Bowmasters to kill this Battlecry Goblin. That's probably better than spending a load of our life into this troll. Because we can kill this and this. Just reduce their critical density of goblins. Okay. Shadowspear, Ham Pass, untapped. Broadside Bombardiers. Well, that's terrible news for us, isn't it? I think we're going to die next turn. Oh dear, oh dear. I guess we ping this guy. And we have to double block this guy. They're just going to sack this and throw it at this though. I don't think we have the tools to beat this matchup right now. Alright, they didn't fling it straight away. Interesting. Let's try this. So I can fling this at our Orc army. That's fine. I don't really think we have any good choices. And I don't think our opponent really has any bad choices. Like, if we make a 6/6 there, our life total is just really low, and then they can just do what they want to us. Saw in half. Is this the secret sauce right now? I mean, we have to keep this just in case they find a way of putting Sticker Goblin into Muxus. But the plan is, at the beginning of combat, before this is attacked, we will saw this guy in half, kill the Broadside Bombardiers. We've got a plan. If we just draw saw in half all the time, maybe we'll be okay. Also gives us a 2/2 that can trade into the Battlecry Goblin. Rabble Master. That's not ideal. But what is, right? Let's saw in half. Ping this guy. Ping this guy. Get out of here, Bombardiers. Go home. These all have to attack. Just go block here. We can pick up a couple of guys here. That's just what we have to do, sadly. I think we maybe should have left one Bowmaster in case we draw another saw in half. We did not draw another saw in half. Our opponent's got one card in hand. I think we play this Dauthi Voidwalker. Not known for being a good blocker. See what's in their hand. And then we can reanimate whatever we think is going to be best here. Get out of here, Goblin Mox. So, if we go to, we lose half our life total, but we get to gobble up some stuff. Or we get this Grief, which we just trade. I don't think we want to trade. We could get the Bombardiers out of our opponent's graveyard, attack, ping down the Rabble Master. Alright, so it's the top of our opponent's deck versus the top of our deck. We have the best permanent in play, but we have a low life total and they have more damage. So, an interesting one. We've got a lot of good draws though, but our opponent's got some pretty good ones too. Yep, our guys got Menace, so they're either holding them both back or they're attacking with both. And I think with our life total as it is, they need to be attacking. Right, nothing from our opponent there. What does this sacrifice? Another creature or artifact? So it doesn't sacrifice lands. Enchantments. So our plan here is to hold back and block the Goblin token here. And then we can start cranking out Urza Saga tokens, which we can then fling at stuff if we need to. Alright, so we're going to see a Ringleader here. That would be pretty savage. We're going to attack with just the Sticker Goblin. And we take the 2. We definitely take the 2 here. Dark Ritual. Not what I would describe as a useful card right now. So we can make a construct, we can attack, we can throw the construct at the Sticker Goblin, then what? Like, it's gone, but I think we hold back and we take 2 more damage, and then we can have some constructs that are just bigger than our opponent's stuff. The lack of Shadowspear in the main deck is a bit sketchy for us right now. It's only a matter of time before they find a Ringleader and we lose though. A Rabble Master. That's a lot like a Ringleader, isn't it? So we take 3 this turn. Reanimate. Not the most useful card I've ever seen. So we get some 3/3s now. I think we want the currency converter, but we're probably throwing whatever we get here, right? So if we're throwing whatever we get, we don't really want the currency converter. Although we could swap out this Reanimate using our Dark Ritual. At least we're going to have... Yeah, I think that's... Because this Reanimate is not helping us. So Chrome Mox would weirdly be a good pickup here. An Ancient Tomb. Oh, Lord. That's not the one we want, is it? So I guess we throw back this Reanimate, because at least the Ancient Tomb could become a land under an Urborg. So if we don't kill this right now, they'll have 4 attackers and we'll die. So we have to attack and throw the currency converter. Right, we're dead to Ringleader. We're dead to Battlecry Goblin. I don't think we're dead to Matron, but we will be the turn after. This is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. What does this do? First strike. Whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Create a treasure. Target creature can't block this turn. Exile top card of your library. You play this turn. Is this a pirate? No. Is this a pirate? No. Whenever a pirate you control attacks. Okay. So this will be a problem next turn for sure. We have to block if they send them both, and this will be a trade because the damage they'll take will be awkward. Alright, we'll block here because we have to. Because then this will be a 1-1 afterwards. So they could have traded this if they wanted to. So we need to find something we can fling. A Dauthi Voidwalker. We can fling you. Go to attacks. What I'm learning here is that the best card in our deck is our opponent's Broadside Bombardiers. We are very much living this one on the edge. The fact that we've managed to get to turn 8. Okay, they're just going to cast a Muxus and just put us right in the dirt. Yep, that'll do. We fought a good fight there. Okay, so I would like removal spells. That seems like a given. Again, I don't think our whole reanimation thing is doing work for us. It just doesn't seem that good. Opposition Agent is actually good here. I would like this. If we had Shadowspear in our deck instead of Currency Converter, we'd probably just win that round. So we don't want these. Karn feels very slow. But is that better? Would we rather have a one of Ensnaring Bridge? Or would we rather have Karn that maybe we could cheese a game out with? I think the cheese power of Karn is good. Cheese is good. Do you want a main deck Walking Ballista? Just a thing we can shoot stuff with? I don't think. Alright, we'll try this. Plague Engineer on Goblin is not as good as it once was. Alright, what do we have here? We've got removal. We've got double Plague Engineer. This is about as good as it gets as long as we find land. We have 2 lands. Like Ancient Tomb would be our best draw. We can just go Plague Engineer, Plague Engineer. Now, they probably have Pyrokinesis in their deck after boarding, so that's something to worry about as well. But we have 3 of our sideboard cards. And we need to draw 1 land in the first couple of turns. So I got to believe in this. We've had a good run. Either the fates are with us or they're not. Basic Mountain. A Chrome Mox. Alright. How bad is this? So our opponent can turn 1 us. I have killed people on turn 1 with goblins. So it's certainly possible. To our Lord and Saviour Muxus, all things are possible. Alright. A Matron. Just a Battlecry Goblin. Okay, I can live with that. I can live with Battlecry Goblin. Another swamp. So we found the mana we need. So we can Sheoldred's Edict when we want to. So we could just pick this up, or we could try and see if they make a mistake with their Sticker Goblin. Alright, Chrome Mox. A War Chief. A Rabble Master. What were they likely to get rid of here? Would I rather kill the Battlecry Goblin or the Rabble Master? I think it's the Battlecry Goblin. So we're going to go, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Because the Plague Engineer checks the Rabble Master quite effectively. We'll take 1 this turn. We'll play the Rabble Master, and then if we get to have another turn, we play the other Rabble Master and we clear the board. And hopefully our opponent doesn't have Pyrokinesis and a red card in the near future. Or a Fury. Sometimes they're on Fury instead. Or our Rabble Master. Give me a little love tap. Saw in half. So we can keep sawing in half our Plague Engineers instead of playing more. That might be quite good. Goblin, please. So yeah, we could saw in half our Plague Engineer and then saw in half the Plague Engineer. And then our opponent doesn't get to have anything. 2 Plague Engineers in play is very good. In against Goblins. 1 Plague Engineer they can beat, but it does weaken what they're up to. Okay, so we could be dead this turn. Please don't roll a 6. They rolled a 6. You got the big boy? Okay, Bombardiers. That's pretty good. Their token will immediately die. Are they going to fling the Sticker Goblin at our Plague Engineer? I believe that's what's about to happen. They could just fling the Chrome Mox instead. But now we're in this awkward spot where we play a Plague Engineer, they just broadside Bombardiers it away. Kind of the spot we had our opponent in with their own Bombardiers last time. We needed this to not be Bombardiers, basically, and I don't think we can beat it. Do you have any target removal? I don't know if we have any target removal that helps here. Orcish Bowmasters. Maybe we can bait something out with these. How about this Shadowspear first, just so it's in play. So we're going to try and use this Bowmaster to strip more of our opponent's permanents and buy ourselves some time. Maybe the Bowmaster isn't good enough to get the Bombardier ping. Alright. So if we ping the Bombardiers and we double block it, it'll be gone. Unless they throw something at it right now. If they let us go to blocks. This also guarantees that we get a guy. So they can throw the token at one of our guys. That does stymie us a little bit. Okay, so we're probably on chump block duty here, aren't we? God, this brought up Bombardier is just too good. It's too good. Now we can kill a guy here, but it doesn't help. Let's do the maths. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is a lot of damage. So we are forced into doing this. Which we name Goblin. If we put this on it, they have to sacrifice their name sticker Goblin to kill this. Which means we're only taking 2, 3, 4 damage. They have to sacrifice the name sticker Goblin. And then what is our plan after that? It's a shame we just don't have one more mana for a Saw in half. I guess they have to sacrifice the name sticker Goblin anyway because they don't have any tokens. So yeah, it's not worth paying the 2 life because it's dying anyway. I guess if we have enough life we can draw Reanimate and then cast Saw in half, then that will be good enough. So we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we can't reanimate our guy. Because the Sticker Goblin attack will pump the Rabblemaster as well. We were so close. If that turn we drew the Bowmasters, we drew... I suppose we needed the Bowmaster there, didn't we? We just needed one more mana source for this turn and we could have absolutely shredded our opponent. But alas, I do not think we're going to get there. Yeah, because now we're going to take 6, so we can't reanimate our guy, and we certainly can't use our Ancient Tomb. So what is our way out of this game? I think it's probably the concede button. We can shoot this guy. That doesn't help. I don't think we want to saw in half any of their guys. So, GG's opponent. The trophy was not there for us. We were so close, though. Both of the games against Goblins, we were really close to winning, which is pretty exciting. So let's talk about this deck. Well, I think the first thing that is pretty obvious here is this package is bad. Right? The Currency Converter, Archon of Cruelty, this didn't do anything. And Karn only did something in one game, I think. And the rest of the time it was the card that we threw away from our mulligans. So basically we were playing a deck with like 7 dead cards in. Most of the time. Now, Shadowspear would definitely have been a much better main deck card. So there is that. I think, simply put, we don't need these cards in our deck. And if we don't have these cards in our deck, do we need Ancient Tombs and Chrome Moxes? Because the Ancient Tombs meant that we couldn't cast our Dauthi Voidwalker that much. What it did mean, though, is that we could do Urza Saga stuff. So maybe that's good enough. But what I would suggest here is you've got these... Let's move these out of the way. We can go with the Reanimate spells. So, got these 7 spells. We could have a better Urza Saga package. So we could chuck in a Shadowspear. That's a given. We could play something like a Soul Guide Lantern. And then, you know, that frees up like 5 slots. And you could play some main deck Plague Engineers, some more Opposition Agents, some main deck Sheoldred's Edict. And then that also frees up our sideboard to actually have good spells. Now, we did win a game because of Karn where we played it, got a Tormod's Crypt, and said no to our opponent's graveyard when they had Threads of Chaos in there. So it did win us a game, but it was such a tertiary thing to what we were doing that I don't really think it's worth it in this deck. Now, there will be matchups where if you play a Karn, it just shuts off your opponent's stuff, but we could just play Null Rod in the sideboard since we would have all of this sideboard space. We can actually run like some good cards instead. You know, we have some cool graveyard hate, so we can reliably beat some graveyard matchups. We could have some Null Rods to smash stuff up. We could have a bunch of differing removal spells, some hand disruption for combo decks. You know, we could have a real deck. So, like, obviously, you know, we went 4-1, which is a pretty good record. I'm not saying this deck doesn't work, but there is a section of the deck that we didn't really use. And we could just have some stuff that complements the rest of the things we're doing. And I feel that would be a stronger approach to this one. I think we do sort of risk moving towards a deck quite close to the one I played for European Legacy Masters. Obviously, that wasn't an Ancient Tomb deck or a Chrome Mox deck, so we do have some different angles there. So I think you probably want to strip those out, though, have a little bit more interaction and just not these dead Archon of Cruelties. Also, Karn not pitching to Chrome Mox and not pitching to Grief is a real issue, I think. I'm not a big fan of that. The Soaring Halves, though. The Soaring Halves did do stuff. And the Soaring Halves gave us an option to try and beat a matchup where we were really far behind. So we had like a problem permanent for our opponent, and we got to saw it in half and then get some work done with it. So maybe there's some other things that we could be sawing in half. I don't know what that is, but maybe there is a useful come into play ability. I don't think we're doing Ravenous Chupacabra. I think that's a bit expensive on the curve. But maybe there's something that we can use. It's like a 2-drop ideally, or a 3-drop, or even a, I don't know. Well, you're not going to get any good 1-drops with come into play abilities, are you? But if we had something that we could saw in half, that might be quite interesting. Like, I don't think we're going as deep as playing like some sort of creature that comes into play and makes your opponent discard. We saw it in half, and we can upkeep, make them draw step, make them discard, so they get to play anything when they're like locked under like top decking mode. But that's something to think about. Like, the saw in half was actually good here. It's just these 7 cards that weren't. If I'm being honest, I was expecting these 4 cards to also be in as part of things that we didn't want in the deck, but they legitimately felt fine, and I think they kind of justify the inclusion of Ancient Tomb. I wonder if there's anything else that we can play to help us out here. We could play something like Exsanguinated Cavalry, but I don't think this is a shell that I'm particularly interested in. Although it does have some nice synergy with Urza Saga by making a bunch of artifacts. So maybe we're looking at Exsanguinated Cavalry, Shadowspear, Soul Guide Lantern, a few Edicts maybe. So how many? Although maybe just want more Oppo Agents and Plague Engineers. Yes, something along these lines. But this deck was not far off of a deck that I'd be happy to take to a larger tournament. I think, like, you know, I have played a mono black deck at like pretty much the highest level of Legacy you can play. So I definitely believe in the core principles of Orcish Bowmasters, Dauthi Voidwalker, and the Scam package. Like, big fan of that. And that's going to do a lot of work for us here. But honestly, the Saw in Half did win us games and was a real thing that we were doing. It wasn't like a meme. It was actually good in our deck. Now, we did lose the last game with 2 of them in hand, but we were so close to these being good. If we'd have drawn, like, the cards in a slightly different order, we could have gone, like, Orcish Bowmaster, Saw it in half, Plague Engineer, Saw it in half, and then we basically are stable at that point, because if you have 2 Plague Engineers, Goblins doesn't function. So, but they can function fine underneath 1, which is kind of interesting. But 2 is like the death knell for a lot of what they're doing. So, not far off of something. I think you could definitely tweak this, but this is definitely too cute. Maybe 2 Hive the Eye Tyrant is a bit much, although it did give us the ability to win some games as well. So maybe they are fine as well. I just also think Hive the Eye Tyrant in a deck with 4-drops isn't really where you want to be, because if you've got a 4-drop and then the lands you draw to try and cast it is a Hive the Eye Tyrant, when you've got 3 lands in play, that doesn't feel good. So fix this side of the deck, and this feels like a pretty sweet little list that you could play. Is it the best mono-black list I've ever played? No. But is it quite fun and can do some explosive things that other mono-black decks can't? Yes. So I definitely think it's got some legs on it. Alright, I think we are done with this one today. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a good time all around, I thought. If you would like a donation deck on the channel, like this was a donation deck, then you can contact me via the Discord and sort it out. You can become a member of my donation tier on Patreon, or you can do that also through one of my YouTube tiers. I'd probably recommend the Patreon over the YouTube, just because that also gives you access to the articles I write as well, for basically the same sort of price as the YouTube one. Alright, I think we are done with this one today, so thank you so much for joining me on this one, and goodbye. If you'd like to support me in the channel, please check out my Patreon. It has a free guide to budget turbo depths, as well as 3 tiers of support. A low cost one that enters you into my monthly raffle for a free donation deck on the channel, a mid-tier subscription that gives you access to my detailed turbo depths guide that is updated every month, as well as regular articles, and lastly the higher tier gives you all of the above, as well as a monthly donation deck for my channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel this way, please check out the link in the description.